Hello, everybody, and welcome to the PHLY Eagles post-game show following the preseason second game. We are here live from the Xfinity Mobile Studio. We're also presented by Doodad Dental, TrueMark Financial Credit Union, and Xfinity. Bo Wolf, Jamie Lynch here after the Eagles, I believe, lost this game 20-something to, I don't know, doesn't matter. Jamie, how you doing? We're going to be in and out because the Wi-Fi could go at any time. The mic could go at any time. This is going to be a 10, 15-minute banger. How you doing?
Yeah, good. Look, there was a lot of jobs on the line today. Primarily a cornerback 2. I was focused a lot on the secondary, that third quarterback position, because we all know Tanner McKee is already goated into that second position. So I was paying attention to that a little bit. So there was some positions up for grabs. Like you said, I didn't care one iota for the score. I was more looking to see who kind of stepped up with their final opportunities here.
Let's talk about the defense first, because I think that was where it was a little bit more interesting. And you looked at the group that started today between Jahad Campbell and Jeremiah Trotter Jr. starting at linebacker, Sidney Brown and Drew Mukuba starting at safety, and Kelee Ringo and Adoree Jackson starting with Jakorian Bennett coming in and Mac McWilliams coming in later. You think about that back seven, there are somehow 3 week 1 starters there. We don't know who they're going to be yet, but there are starters out on the field yet there. And, Dylan Gabriel, the, third round pick rookie, little mini guy from the Browns, looked pretty good against the Eagles defense. Now, the Eagles defense, the pass rush was not great in this game. It looked like the Browns offensive line was making their way with them. However, there was one player in that secondary who really flashed today, and that was Drew Mukuba, who was responsible, Jamie, for our Ford play of the game. To learn more about Ford, visit your local Ford dealer. And Jamie, Mukuba was responsible for 2 turnovers in this game, but the really big one was a pick 6 where he sort of knifes his way in between 2 Browns receivers on a play-action boot for Gabriel, makes the nice catch, and then sprints away for a 75-yard touchdown. What did you think of that when you were watching at home?
Yeah, I thought it was a pretty bad route concept there by the Browns. They kind of had 2 guys stacked on top of one another, which allowed Mukuba to play both of them. But I learned after the game with John Clark, it was Drew Mukuba's first ever pick 6, I believe, at any level.
Really?
Which is kind of hard to believe for a guy that always was known to be around the ball and a playmaker. But it was really nice to see him just one cut and gone there. Really nice play by Mukuba. And then the second one, it's not too often a safety's going to end up with a fumble in the backfield. But Mukuba just kind of right place, right time.
Botched handoff. It wasn't. Yeah. This was not a forced fumble. It was just a botched handoff, and the ball, falls to the ground and basically just finds its way to Mukuba. But you give him a little bit of credit for being in the right place at the right time. But the pick 6 was the big one. It was almost like his slight frame worked to his advantage a little bit because he was sort of like hidden behind the tight end in Gabriel's eyes. And I also thought the receivers could have done a better job there. But you give Mukuba all the credit in the world. Now, this was interesting because Mukuba missed the first preseason game because of the shoulder injury. And I think everybody sort of agreed that at this point, it was probably more likely that Sidney Brown would be starting opposite Reed Blankenship week 1 than Mukuba. But after today, I feel like we may look back at week 1 and say this was the turning point. And it's not just the flashy plays. And there was one play where Mukuba was covering a tight end I think it might have been what's the guy's name? Anyway, he beat Mukuba. Actually, it was what's that loser's name?
Let's go to the
Cedric Tillman. Cedric Tillman.
It
was Cedric Tillman got up on him and hit him on the corner route, and it was like an 18-yard gain and left Mukuba in his dust. So listen, it wasn't perfect, but I think you see that if Mukuba is capable of doing things like that, and if he's not going to be a liability as a tackler, then you might as well let him grow on the job. I feel like. How do you feel, Jamie?
Yeah, I mean, Sidney Brown has had kind of every opportunity in the world to seize this job. You've been at camp every day with Fran and EJ, kind of, I'm sure, paying attention to that. I don't know. I'm kind of with you. Like, the upside to me is more intriguing than the known with Sidney Brown. A guy, look, good luck or not falling on that fumble. Some guys just have a knack for being in the right place at the right time. And sometimes the ball is
CJ Gardner-Johnson to it, actually.
Yeah, a little bit. So, like, I'm kind of with you. I like the upside more with Mukuba than going to Sidney Brown. look, Sidney Brown, get a depth job, man. Like secure your spot. And I don't know. I kind of want to roll the dice a little bit with Drew Mukuba.
Yeah, I mean, I like Sidney Brown. He's a great guy to talk to. Works really hard. He missed a tackle on the open field today. I just feel like, they drafted this guy in the second round to be the starter. He's going to be starting eventually. Let's throw him into the fire. Like, let's throw him into the deep end and see if he can swim. That's kind of how I feel.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I have no problem. It feels like he won a job today. I don't know how that feeling was down at the LINC talking to other beat guys. Yeah, it kind of feels like he made a stellar first impression and a little bit more confidence maybe taking that chance and starting them.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, now elsewhere in the secondary, you mentioned it, and this was probably the most interesting subplot of the game to me was the way that Vic Fangio handled the outside cornerback position. So first 3 drives, you get drive 1, it's Kelee Ringo and Adoree Jackson. Drive 2, it's Adoree Jackson and Jakorian Bennett. Drive 3, it's Kelee Ringo and Jakorian Bennett. So each of those guys gets 2 series. Later on, Mac McWilliams gets into the mix. And for the most part, it was McWilliams and Bennett early on in the second half. And you know what? These guys are all jockeying for one spot, Jamie. And that's why we're going to call it our Righteous Felon Beef of the Week.
How's that?
That's pretty good. What can you tell me about the beef of the week?
I mean, to me and my eyes here at home, the beef of the week. And Bo, I got to tell you, I had 2 road trips recently with the family, and I'll be honest, I nabbed a bag or 2 for the road trips. And the Righteous Felon beef of the week is it's delicious, and I approve it for every car ride. You can order online at righteousfelon.com using code PHLY20 for 20% off. They have all kinds of cool variety packs and bundles on the sites. It's the perfect gift for the special meat snack lover in your life. That's a discount code PHLY for 20% off your order on righteousfelon.com.
So in terms of how these guys played today, Jakorian Bennett probably had the flashiest play, which was a nice pass breakup on a play over the middle where he had to run with, I believe it was Gage Larvadan all the way across the field.
What a name.
You saw his length there. That was a really nice play from Bennett.
Got Ross Tucker real excited on that play.
Okay. And I thought this was the best that he has looked since he's been at camp with the Eagles. I thought Adoree Jackson did not look great today. There were a couple plays where it seemed like he was either out of position or I'm not sure what was going on. And then I didn't think that Kelee Ringo was bad today. It's just that the signal we're getting from Vic Fangio that, Bennett's reps are increasing. Kelee is not getting quite as many. That's coupled with him not getting a ton of reps on Thursday's practice, which we wondered, okay, if he's not going to get a ton of reps on Thursday, is he going to get a ton of reps in the game? That wasn't really the case. And so, I would be a little bit worried about your Kelee Ringo stock if you're holding it. And I thought Mac McWilliams looked pretty good today as well, but he's clearly being fourth in the jockeying right now. If it was just based on what we saw today, I would say that Jakorian Bennett's odds increased of winning that job.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Watching the game at home today, I thought Jakorian Bennett, and look, things can change in the next 2 weeks. I thought he won a job today. I think he showed the most promise. I don't know if you want to put Mac McWilliams in there, baptism by fire week 1, but that's what these next 2 weeks are for. Maybe week 3, he has a big game and you feel better about it. But walking away today, if I'm Jakorian Bennett, I feel like, and I thought it was good that he came back from the shoulder, kind of little injury twinge he had to kind of like fight for the job a little bit. But I have a feeling if it was week 1 tomorrow, Jakorian Bennett's your cornerback too. Which I don't feel great about, to be honest.
I don't know if they showed it on the broadcast, but after Bennett suffers that injury, he's like, trying to convince the doctors to let him back in the game. He's doing little mini sprints on the sideline. He's asking for his helmet back. So there was a little bit of a push from him to get back on the field.
Yeah, that's good work by him. You can't make the club in the tub, so he had to get back out there and kind of play through some pain a little bit.
Yeah, and I thought he looked okay. I think you're right to be worried, and I think all Eagles fans, this is probably their primary concern right now, and I think that's fair based on what we've seen so far. We saw Jahad Campbell.
Feedback on tweets were like, this cornerback too is not on the team, Bo. Like people are kind of freaking out a little bit. Temperatures running hot out there.
Yeah, I mean, I get the best thing you can say right now is just trust in Vic. That's all you got.
Yeah.
Elsewhere in defense, we saw Jihad Campbell, first series of the game, knife through for a sack with a nice blitz. Good to see Jihad. He has looked good moving forward all summer long.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to be starting day one next to Zach Bond. All of a sudden, that linebacking core becomes a really exciting duo. You see the speed. I think it was Ross Tucker, Scott Graham brought up, Jaden Daniels. You're not going to be able to escape to the outside with the two of these athletic linebackers on the field. Jihad really showed his kind of patience it was like a controlled rush where he showed his speed. He kept it in check, read the play right. It was a nice first play of the game from Jihad Campbell there. He's kind of got the juices going here a little bit for me, Bo. I'm pumped.
I think that's fair. I think he deserves to have your juices flowing, Jamie. On offense, listen, Tanner McKee, as you said, did not start in this game. So it was pretty ugly on offense. Dorian Thompson-Robinson and Kyle McCord got all the work here, and they sort of split it up. Dorian Thompson-Robinson went 5 of 8 for 17 yards. That's it. Kyle McCord, meanwhile, 8 of 16 for 47 yards, including a 9-yard touchdown pass to Ainias Smith. So shout out to Ainias Smith with his second touchdown in as many games, 2 catches for 19 yards for him. Right? What's that? Very similar. Yeah, I think it might have been. Yeah. I mean, it was a slant. Yeah, it was a nice. It was a nicely thrown ball. It was a nice job by Ainias, and I think he is right on the bubble. I would say Ainias Smith, but for him to make that play was encouraging. But yeah, I think listen, when you are watching a preseason game and you go from Tanner McKee to these two guys who are roster bubble players, like the overall quality of what you see on offense for everybody takes a bit of a dip.
Yeah, I was thinking about this a lot today. I know you guys have talked about it on the show. And make sure if you're new to the show, you tune into Bo, EJ, and Fran every day at 2:00. But Bo, I'm kind of like with the thought of it's a third-string quarterback. Chances are they're not going to play that much. I'd rather go with the roster-building kind of chemistry, 4 years of Kyle McCord and developing him. Because DTR, you kind of know what he is. He has a body of work in the NFL. Not to say it's bad, or I don't know how much upside is there. With Kyle McCord, I think there's a little bit of upside and continuity for that position. If you ask me today to pick one, I'm slight lean towards Kyle McCord over him. But it's a good problem because, that hopefully your quarterback 3 is never really seen the field anyway.
I think that's right. And despite the fact that EJ has been spending all week saying that Dorian Thompson-Robinson is a starting caliber quarterback, it didn't look that great today. That's okay. What did you make? I'll tell you what my other. What's that?
The A.J. Dillon play. What did you make of that? Did you think he was right for not knowing if the ball's a fumble at that point? Do you swat it down? My reaction was swat it down, but that was a bad play by him, right?
Terrible play.
Yeah.
Terrible play. I mean,
okay.
That is a me first 21st century athlete if I've ever seen one. Get me a catch for my for my performance bonus instead of doing what's right for the team.
-12 yards.
That's terrible.
Glory.
That was terrible. If you didn't see it, Dorian Thompson-Robinson is trying to throw. The ball gets batted up into the air. 2 offensive linemen then try to bat it down at the same time, and it then goes up into the air into A.J. Dillon's arms, and instead of batting it down himself, he catches it. He said that he thought it was worried it was a fumble.
No, there was people online being like, well, he might not have known if it was a fumble. He did the right thing, lose situation. I was like, nah, that was a bad play.
Yeah, I mean, we're joking. It was not. I could see why you would decide to catch it. I guess these things are tough, but watching it live, yeah, I mean, cut the guy.
Is A.J. Dillon's a lock at this point, right?
Oh, I don't think he's a lock.
No, you think it's still 50-50?
I think he's slightly favored to make the roster. But Montrell Johnson, who didn't get a ton of work today, but 6 carries for 20 yards, not the world's best stat line. But I think he offers a similar skill set to A.J. Dillon, and you could convince me that you would rather have the undrafted guy than the veteran whose contract would be vested if he's on the week 1 roster. I don't think that's a crazy thing, but I think it's still more likely than not that Dillon makes it. The other thing I was going to say, Jamie, is just watching this game. I think if cornerback 2 is keeping you up at night, I think the offensive line depth is the thing that is waking you up in the middle of the night in a cold sweat, because there is not the same level that we've had in years past. I mean, think about last year, Tyler Steen is a backup. The year before that, Cam Jurgens is a backup. You know, you had Fred Johnson, and there's nobody like that right now who you can really count on as if one guy goes down, we are going to be okay making it through the next game. I think there are going to be some issues here if somebody gets called into play.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that Drew Kendall and Toth played the entire game and every single snap is, I guess those are guys they feel best about and wanted to get the most look at. Yeah.
Well, what I actually found very interesting there, if you didn't see it, was that the game started with Drew Kendall at center and Brett Toth at left guard. And right now, if the season started today, Brett Toth would likely be the starter at left guard. But then in the second half, Toth played center and Kendall played left guard. And we haven't seen Drew Kendall play guard almost at all this summer. And so this was a good test for him. If he's going to be active on game day, we need to see that he can actually play guard. And I thought he handled himself fairly well just watching live. We'll have to see what the tape says. But I thought that was
they had Cam Jurgens on a sideline interview talking about Drew Kendall and doing that, switching back and forth between guard and center. Cam Jurgens, look, he's on camera. He's talking about his teammate. He's going to be complimentary, but he was like, Drew Kendall's in there every day, working hard, asking the right questions. He's a really smart player. As long as he has his mind straight, it's not that hard to kind of just know your assignments and go back and forth and play the two. So he was very complimentary of Kendall, as a young kid.
All right, Jamie, I think that's all we got. Any final words? Anything else you saw on the broadcast that I might not be aware
of? No, nothing too much on the broadcast. Nakobe Dean tried to get his Landon Dickerson environment, stalking the interview with Zach Bond. It wasn't as good as Dickerson, so that was a little bit of a miss there by Nakobe. He went with the double Gatorades, Bo. And, Dickerson went with the Uncrustable. Yeah, so he tried to get his moment. No, not too much else. I was on the floor on a heating pad, Bo. I had a dad injury yesterday.
Back, neck? What do we got?
Back. It's down bad. And nothing cool either to report, just pushing on the swings. I got a twinge, and I went down. Real bad.
It's no good.
It's not good. It's not good.
I'm sorry. Good luck.
Yeah. Better than our boyfriend Duffy, who was in the car for 11 hours today.
He was in the car for 11 hours?
11 hours. He texted
yesterday,
me
right?
earlier. Yeah.
Oof.
How's the Wolf family car on an 11-hour trip?
We had one recently. It was okay. Probably a little bit more throw up than you would like.
Never good.
Yeah. All right. That'll do it for this episode of the PHLY Eagles post-game show. We will be back all next week, 2:00, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, talking about the Eagles, E.J. Smith. Fran Duffy's actually out next week, but he's usually there. Handsome Rich Hoffman, Jamie Lynch, everybody in the mix. Join us. Comment below. Let us know what you thought of the game. Subscribe to the channel. That's all we got. Thank you, Julia, for making it happen. Thank you, Jamie. I'm Bo. We'll see you on Monday. And as always, we love you.
We all silly like the mayor.